Welcome back. Coinology. The 2019 1-cent coin is one of those everyday objects that most people pass through their hands without a second thought, yet hidden inside this small copper-colored disc is a powerful story of American history, modern minting technology, symbolism, controversy, and the constant rumors of coins worth life-changing money. When you hold a 2019 1-cent coin, you are holding a continuation of a tradition that began more than 200 years ago, a tradition that has survived wars, economic collapses, metal shortages, political changes, and dramatic shifts in how money is used in daily life. The 1-cent coin may seem insignificant in value, but its story is enormous, and in some rare cases, collectors believe it could be worth astonishing sums, sometimes even whispered figures like $252 million in speculative discussions, making people all over the world search their pockets, jars, and collections with fresh excitement. The 2019 1-cent coin belongs to the Lincoln Cents series, a series that began in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. This was the first time a real historical person appeared on a regular circulating U.S. coin, and that decision alone changed American coinage forever. By 2019, the Lincoln Cent had already gone through multiple design changes, metal composition adjustments, and minting innovations, yet it remained instantly recognizable. The obverse still features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. Even though the portrait has been modified slightly over the decades for clarity and minting efficiency, the soul of Brenner's original artwork remains, connecting 2019 directly to 1909. In terms of weight, the 2019 1-cent coin weighs 2.5 grams. This weight has been standard since 1982, when the U.S. Mint transitioned from primarily copper cents to copper-plated zinc cents. The composition of the 2019 cent is 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating of 2.5%, giving it the familiar copper appearance while reducing production costs. This change was driven by rising copper prices, a reminder that even the smallest coin is affected by global metal markets and economic pressures. Despite its low face value, the engineering behind this coin is surprisingly precise, as even tiny deviations in weight can indicate minting errors that collectors eagerly hunt for. The diameter of the 2019 1-cent coin is 19.05 millimeters, and its thickness is approximately 1.52 millimeters. The edge is plain, with no reading or lettering, a design choice that has remained consistent for the cent since its earliest days. This simple edge makes the coin easy to stack and count, but it also means that edge errors, such as incomplete plating or unusual striking marks, stand out more clearly to trained eyes. For collectors, these small anomalies can turn an ordinary cent into something far more valuable. The coin symbol for the 1 cent is often represented as cent, a symbol that has become less common in everyday writing but still carries historical significance. On the 2019 coin itself, the value is spelled out as 1 cent, reinforcing clarity and tradition. This wording has appeared on U.S. cents for generations, emphasizing the coin's role as a foundational unit of American currency. Even as digital payments rise and the purchasing power of a cent diminishes, the symbol and the words remain a powerful reminder of how the U.S. monetary system was built from the ground up. The reverse design of the 2019 1-cent coin features the Union Shield, a design introduced in 2010. This shield symbolizes Lincoln's preservation of the United States as a single, unified country during the Civil War. The shield includes vertical stripes representing the states, joined together by a horizontal bar symbolizing the federal government. Above the shield appears the motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, a phrase deeply connected to the idea of unity. The words United States of America and 1 cent complete the reverse design, creating a balanced and symbolic composition that reflects both national pride and historical continuity. The year 2019 itself is significant because it represents a modern era of minting, where coins are produced with advanced machinery capable of striking millions of pieces with incredible consistency. In 2019, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln Cents at multiple facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver, each identified by a mint mark. Philadelphia coins typically have no mint mark, while Denver coins carry a small d. These mint marks are tiny, but they are crucial for collectors, as certain mint marks combined with specific errors or low survival rates can dramatically increase a coin's value. When people talk about the 2019 1-cent coin being worth big money, the conversation often turns to errors and varieties. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process, such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchets, and die cracks. A 2019 cent with a strong doubled die on the obverse, especially noticeable on Lincoln's profile or the inscriptions, could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on severity and condition. Off-metal strikes, where a cent is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, are extremely rare and can command astonishing prices at auction. Speculation sometimes goes far beyond documented auction results. Stories circulate online and in collector communities about ultra-rare 2019 1-cent coins that could theoretically be worth unimaginable sums, sometimes exaggerated figures like $252 million. While such numbers should be approached with caution, they reflect the intense fascination people have with the idea that a tiny, overlooked coin could be the key to unimaginable wealth. These stories keep interest alive and drive millions of people to examine their change more carefully than ever before. Condition plays a massive role in determining value. A 2019 1-cent coin in circulated condition, with visible wear and scratches, is usually worth face value. However, coins in uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS67, MS68, or higher by professional grading services, can be worth significantly more. Proof versions of the 2019 cent, struck with specially polished dies and planchets, feature mirror-like fields and frosted details. These proof coins were not intended for circulation and are highly sought after by collectors, especially when preserved in perfect condition. The history of the 1-cent coin itself adds another layer of importance. The cent has been at the center of debates for decades, with arguments about its usefulness, cost of production, and relevance in a modern economy. In 2019, it reportedly cost more than 1 cent to produce a single penny, reigniting discussions about whether the denomination should be discontinued. Despite these debates, the cent remains in circulation, partly because of its deep historical roots and symbolic value. Abraham Lincoln's presence on the coin adds emotional and cultural weight. Lincoln is consistently ranked among the greatest U.S. presidents, admired for his leadership during the Civil War and his role in ending slavery. Having his image on the cent makes the coin more than just money. It becomes a miniature monument carried in pockets and purses across the nation. For many collectors, this connection to Lincoln is a major reason the coin remains appealing. The market for coins is driven by supply, demand, condition, rarity, and storytelling. The 2019 1-cent coin exists in huge quantities, but within that massive supply are tiny pockets of rarity. A single error coin, a unique variety, or an exceptionally well-preserved example can stand out dramatically. Auctions, online marketplaces, and private sales all contribute to the constantly shifting market value of these coins. Prices can rise quickly when a new variety is discovered or when media attention sparks renewed interest. Collectors often recommend careful examination of 2019 cents using magnification, good lighting, and reference guides. Look closely at the date, mint mark, inscriptions, Lincoln's portrait, and the shield lines. Any doubling, missing details, unusual textures, or color differences could indicate something special. Even the sound a coin makes when dropped gently on a hard surface can sometimes hint at an off-metal composition. As we continue deeper into the story of the 2019 1-cent coin, it becomes clear that its true power lies not only in metal and design but in the psychology of collecting and the way human curiosity transforms ordinary objects into extraordinary obsessions. Across the world, from the United States to Europe, Asia, and even South Asia, collectors, investors, and everyday people quietly examine their coins, hoping to discover something rare. The 2019 cent sits right at the center of this modern treasure hunt because it is recent enough to still be found in circulation, yet old enough for certain rare varieties and minting errors to have already surfaced. One of the most important aspects that drives excitement around the 2019 1-cent coin is minting error potential. Modern minting is highly advanced, but perfection is never guaranteed. In 2019, millions upon millions of cents were struck every single day, and when machines operate at such speed, even the smallest malfunction can create a coin that is completely different from the rest. A die might shift slightly, creating doubled inscriptions. A planchet might be improperly cut, resulting in clipped edges. A coin might be struck off-center, leaving part of the design missing. To most people, these might look like damaged coins, but to collectors, they can be the holy grail. Among the most talked about possibilities are doubled die obverse coins from 2019. A true doubled die is not the same as simple machine doubling. It happens when the die itself receives a doubled impression during the hubbing process. On a genuine doubled die 2019 cent, you might see strong doubling on Lincoln's eye, ear, or jawline, or clear separation in the letters of "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." When such doubling is bold and clearly visible without extreme magnification, values can climb rapidly, sometimes into thousands of dollars, especially if the coin is in uncirculated condition. Another category that fuels dreams of massive value is wrong planchet errors. Imagine a 2019 1-cent coin struck on a blank intended for a different denomination, such as a dime or even a foreign coin. The weight would be wrong, the color might look unusual, and the sound would be different. These coins are extremely rare, and when authenticated, they can sell for astonishing prices. While not every wrong planchet coin reaches sensational figures, the rarity factor makes collectors willing to pay extraordinary amounts, particularly when the error is dramatic and visually obvious. Then there are broad strikes and collar errors. The collar is the metal ring that holds the planchet in place during striking. If the collar fails or is missing, the coin can expand outward when struck, creating a broad, flat coin with distorted lettering. A 2019 cent with a clean broad strike and strong details can be highly desirable, especially if the copper plating remains intact and evenly spread across the surface. These coins tell a story of mechanical failure frozen in time, making them irresistible to error collectors. Color and plating issues also play a major role in 2019 cent value discussions. Because modern cents are copper-plated zinc, any issue with the plating process can produce strange and eye-catching results. Some coins may show bubbling, peeling, or missing copper plating, exposing the silvery gray zinc beneath. Others may appear unusually dark, reddish, or even partially silver in color. While minor plating flaws are common and usually not valuable, dramatic and well-defined errors can push values much higher, particularly when certified by a professional grading service. Certification itself is a powerful factor in the coin market. A raw, ungraded 2019 cent might raise suspicion, but once it is authenticated, graded, and encapsulated by a respected grading company, confidence skyrockets. Collectors trust the grade, rarity designation, and authenticity, which can multiply a coin's market value overnight. High-grade coins, especially those graded MS68 or MS69, are incredibly difficult to achieve for circulation strikes, making them stand out sharply in population reports. The idea of a 2019 1-cent coin being worth unimaginable money, even figures like $252,000 million, often comes from a mix of speculation, misinterpretation, and the human love for extraordinary stories. While such extreme values are not supported by typical market data, the legends themselves play an important role. They attract new collectors, drive online searches, and keep the conversation alive. Every major discovery in coin history began with someone believing that something ordinary could be extraordinary. The history of coin collecting is filled with examples that once seemed impossible. Coins struck by mistake, overlooked for years, later became some of the most valuable objects on Earth. This historical reality fuels belief. People know that rarity combined with demand can create explosive value. The 2019 cent, being part of a massive modern mintage, seems unlikely at first glance, but within that ocean of coins, a single unique error or variety could theoretically exist only once. Another fascinating angle is the global interest in U.S. coins. The American cent is recognized worldwide, and Lincoln's portrait is known far beyond U.S. borders. Collectors from other countries often seek US coins because of their strong documentation, stable market, and historical significance. A rare 2019 cent discovered outside the United States could generate even more excitement, adding an international dimension to its story and value. The economic context of 2019 also adds depth. This was a period of rapid technological change, growing digital payments, and ongoing debate about the future of physical money. Coins minted in this era represent a transition point in monetary history. If one day the cent is discontinued, coins like the 2019 issue could gain additional historical importance as part of the final chapters of an iconic denomination. Collectors also pay close attention to die varieties that are subtle but significant. Small differences in lettering shape, spacing, or alignment can indicate different dies. Over time, certain die varieties may become recognized and cataloged, and once that happens, demand can increase sharply. A variety that today goes unnoticed could tomorrow be the focus of intense bidding wars. The emotional side of collecting cannot be ignored. Many people remember searching through coins with parents or grandparents, building collections from pocket change. Finding a 2019 cent that turns out to be special can feel like winning a lottery rooted in patience, knowledge, and passion rather than pure chance. This emotional connection often drives people to pay more than expected, especially when a coin completes a set or represents a personal milestone. As the market continues to evolve, online platforms play a huge role. Coins are bought and sold instantly across continents, prices are discussed in forums, and discoveries spread rapidly through social media. A single viral post about a rare 2019 cent can ignite worldwide interest overnight. This modern amplification effect means that demand can surge much faster than in the past, pushing prices higher in a very short time. Part 2 of this journey shows that the 2019 1-cent coin is not just about metal, weight, or design. It is about human belief, history repeating itself, and the endless possibility that something small can carry something massive within it. The deeper the story goes, the more layers appear, and the closer we come to understanding why people continue to believe that a tiny 2019 cent could one day stand among the most talked about coins in the world. Moving forward into an even deeper layer of the 2019 1-cent coin story, we begin to understand how time, preservation, and market psychology slowly transform modern coins into future legends. Every coin that exists today is moving through time, and with each passing year, fewer examples survive in perfect condition. The 2019 cent is no exception. Millions were minted, but millions were also damaged, scratched, corroded, or lost. What remains after years of circulation and neglect is what ultimately shapes rarity, and rarity is the foundation of value. One of the most critical elements that collectors focus on with the 2019 1-cent coin is surface preservation. Because the coin is copper-plated zinc, it is extremely sensitive to environmental damage. Moisture, heat, and chemicals can quickly destroy the thin copper layer, leading to bubbling, spotting, or complete deterioration known as zinc rot. Coins that remain fully intact, with smooth surfaces and original luster, become increasingly scarce over time. A flawless 2019 cent stored carefully from the moment it left the mint could one day be far rarer than anyone expects today. Luster is another key concept that separates ordinary coins from premium examples. Mint luster is the way light dances across the surface of a freshly struck coin, creating a cartwheel effect when tilted. On 2019 cents, strong original luster indicates that the coin has never been heavily circulated or cleaned. Once luster is gone, it can never be restored. Collectors pay close attention to this quality, because high-grade coins with full luster often command prices many times higher than average examples. Cleaning is one of the most common mistakes people make when they believe they have found a valuable coin. A 2019 cent that has been cleaned, polished, or chemically treated may look shiny to the untrained eye, but to experienced collectors and grading services, cleaning damage is immediately obvious. Fine hairline scratches, unnatural brightness, or altered color can permanently reduce a coin's value. Ironically, an untouched coin with natural toning is almost always worth more than a cleaned one, even if the clean coin appears more attractive at first glance, toning itself adds another layer of complexity. Over time, copper surfaces can develop shades of red, brown, purple, blue, or even gold, depending on storage conditions. On 2019 cents, attractive and even toning can increase desirability, especially if it enhances the design without obscuring details. Unique natural toning patterns can make a coin stand out in the market, turning it into a one-of-a-kind visual piece that collectors are willing to compete for. The role of grading population reports cannot be overstated. Professional grading companies track how many coins of a certain type and year exist in each grade. If only a small number of 2019 cents achieve the highest grades, those coins instantly become elite. Even if millions were minted, the market cares deeply about how many survive in top condition. A single grade point difference can mean the difference between a modest premium and a dramatic price jump. Another fascinating aspect of the 2019 1-cent coin is how future discoveries can reshape current understanding. Many major coin varieties were discovered decades after the coins were minted. Dyes were studied more closely, errors were reclassified, and new information came to light. It is entirely possible that undiscovered varieties of the 2019 cents still exist, waiting in rolls, bags, or forgotten collections. When such a discovery happens, it can rewrite the value landscape overnight. Historical context also influences long-term value. The 2019 cent exists in a world increasingly dominated by digital transactions. Cash usage is declining in many areas, and physical coins are becoming less central to daily life. This shift could eventually make coins from the late 2010s symbols of the final era of widespread coin circulation. Future collectors may view the 2019 cent as part of a closing chapter in monetary history. Adding to its appeal, the concept of scarcity is not only about how many coins exist, but how many people want them. Demand is driven by collectors building sets, investors seeking appreciation, and historians preserving artifacts. The Lincoln Cents series is one of the most widely collected series in the world. That alone ensures a steady base of demand. Any standout 2019 cent, whether due to grade, error, or variety, enters a competitive arena where multiple buyers may chase the same coin. Investment behavior also plays a role. Some buyers view modern high-grade coins as long-term investments, betting that future generations will pay premiums for top-condition examples. Others focus on error coins, believing that dramatic mistakes will always attract attention. The presence of these different buyer types creates a dynamic market where prices can move in unexpected ways. The rumored extreme values attached to certain modern coins, including sensational figures like $252,000 million, often emerge from a misunderstanding of rarity combined with speculative excitement. While such numbers are not realistic in standard markets, they highlight an important truth: perception can be almost as powerful as reality. When enough people believe a coin is special, demand increases, and prices rise accordingly. In this way, belief itself becomes part of the coin's value story. Collectors often advise patience. The true potential of a coin like the 2019 cent may not be realized for decades. Today's pocket change can become tomorrow's museum piece. Coins that are ignored now might one day be studied, cataloged, and celebrated. The key is preservation, documentation, and knowledge. As Part 3 unfolds, the 2019 1-cent coin emerges not just as an object of metal, but as a living participant in time. Its journey has only just begun. Each year adds distance from its minting, each loss reduces the population, and each discovery reshapes understanding. The story continues to grow, layer by layer, driven by history, curiosity, and the enduring human desire to find greatness in the smallest of things. As the exploration moves even further, the 2019 1-cent coin begins to reflect something much deeper than collecting alone. It becomes a mirror of society, habits, and how people assign meaning to objects over time. Every coin travels through countless hands, pockets, cash registers, drawers, and jars. Some are spent without thought, others are set aside deliberately, and a very small number are protected as if they were priceless artifacts. The destiny of each 2019 cent depends almost entirely on human choice, and that is what makes its story so unpredictable and fascinating. One of the most overlooked factors influencing future value is hoarding behavior. When people believe a coin might become valuable, they start pulling it from circulation. In 2019, rumors and online discussions encouraged many individuals to save rolls of fresh cents, especially those in uncirculated condition. This mass hoarding creates an interesting paradox. On one hand, it preserves large numbers of coins in excellent condition. On the other hand, it concentrates supply into fewer hands, meaning that when collectors decide to sell, the market can suddenly feel either flooded or starved, depending on timing. Roll searching is another major activity that surrounds modern cents, like the 2019 issue. People buy rolls or boxes of cents directly from banks and search through them coin by coin, looking for errors, varieties, or pristine examples. This practice has exploded in popularity thanks to online videos and social media. Each search reinforces the belief that treasure can still be found in everyday places. Even when nothing extraordinary is discovered, the process itself keeps interest alive and ensures that the 2019 cent remains relevant in collector culture. The psychology of near misses plays a powerful role. Someone might find a slightly off-center 2019 cent, or a coin with minor doubling that turns out not to be a true double die. Even though the coin is not extremely valuable, the excitement of being close to a major discovery often pushes people to keep searching. This continuous cycle of hope and investigation fuels the market and strengthens the mythology surrounding modern coins. Education also shapes value perception. As collectors become more knowledgeable, they learn to distinguish between real rarity and damage, between genuine mint errors and post-mint alterations. This growing expertise raises standards across the market. A 2019 cent that once might have been dismissed as ordinary could later be recognized as a specific variety once proper documentation and research exist. Knowledge transforms perception, and perception transforms demand. The role of auction houses cannot be ignored. When a rare or high-grade 2019 cent appears in a major auction, it receives exposure to serious collectors and investors. Strong auction results are often reported and shared widely, influencing prices across the entire market. A single record-breaking sale can redefine what people believe is possible for that coin. Even if only one example reaches a high price, it can lift the perceived value of others. Another powerful influence is generational change. Younger collectors often approach coins differently than older generations. They are more comfortable with online marketplaces, digital research, and rapid information sharing. For them, a 2019 cent is not just a coin but content, a story, and a potential viral moment. This modern approach can accelerate trends, pushing certain coins into the spotlight much faster than in the past. The symbolic meaning of the cent itself continues to evolve. As inflation reduces purchasing power, the cent becomes more symbolic than practical. This shift adds emotional weight. Objects that lose practical function often gain historical and collectible importance. If the cent is eventually discontinued, coins like the 2019 issue could become representatives of the final full decades of cent production, a role that adds long-term historical appeal. Error coins from discontinued denominations often become especially desirable. People look back and ask which coins marked the end of an era. The 2019 cent sits close enough to modern debates about discontinuation that future collectors may view it as part of a turning point. That narrative alone can increase desirability, even for coins without dramatic errors. Market cycles also play a role. Coin values rise and fall with broader economic conditions. During times of uncertainty, tangible assets like coins often see increased interest. A well-documented, high-quality 2019 cent could benefit from such shifts. As collectors seek stability and historical connection in physical objects, stories passed from person to person further amplify interest. Someone finds an unusual 2019 cent and tells friends and family. The story spreads, sometimes changing along the way, growing larger and more dramatic. Over time, these stories become legends. Legends are powerful. They inspire searches, collections, and lifelong interest. Many famous coins achieved legendary status long before their true rarity was fully understood. The idea of extreme value, even when exaggerated, serves a purpose. It keeps attention focused. It encourages learning. It transforms a simple object into a symbol of possibility. The 2019 1-cent coin, through all these forces, becomes more than metal. It becomes a canvas for belief, patience, and curiosity. As unfolds, the journey of the 2019 cent feels far from complete. Each passing year adds meaning, each discovery adds complexity, and each story adds momentum. What began as a simple coin minted for everyday transactions slowly evolves into something much larger, shaped by human behavior, historical context, and the endless hope that something small can one day be worth something unimaginably big. As the story moves into an even deeper and more reflective phase, the 2019 1-cent coin begins to reveal how time transforms ordinary objects into historical witnesses. Every mark, every untouched surface, and every preserved detail becomes evidence of a moment in history. The coin does not age in isolation, it ages alongside the people who carry it, save it, forget it, or rediscover it years later. This shared passage of time is what slowly elevates a simple cent into a meaningful artifact. One of the most powerful drivers of long-term value is survival rate. While millions of 2019 cents were minted, the number that will survive in excellent condition decades from now is unknowable. Coins are lost to corrosion, melted, damaged, or discarded. Zinc-based cents are especially vulnerable. Once the copper plating is breached, deterioration can accelerate quickly. This means that carefully preserved 2019 cents, especially those stored in stable environments, may become increasingly rare over time, not because of low mintage, but because of high attrition. Collectors often speak about originality. An original coin is one that remains exactly as it left the mint, untouched by cleaning, polishing, or artificial enhancement. Originality carries enormous weight in the market. A fully original 2019 cent with blazing luster and no surface disturbance can be far more desirable than a coin that appears brighter but has been altered. Originality tells a story of respect for history and patience, qualities highly valued by serious collectors. The role of documentation grows stronger with time. Coins accompanied by clear provenance, such as being part of a known collection or a documented roll from the year of issue, can command additional attention. In the future, a 2019 cent preserved in original mint packaging or accompanied by verifiable records could stand out dramatically among otherwise similar examples. Documentation turns a coin into a narrative, and narratives create emotional investment. Another aspect that becomes increasingly important is comparative rarity. Even if many 2019 cents survive, certain subgroups may not. Coins from specific dies, specific mint runs, or specific packaging could become scarce. The discovery of such patterns often happens long after the coins were minted, as researchers analyze surviving populations. When a pattern emerges, the market reacts swiftly, rewarding those who unknowingly preserved rare examples. The influence of museums and institutional collections also matters. When public institutions begin to acquire modern coins for historical archives, it signals recognition of long-term importance. A 2019 cent included in an exhibit about early 21st century America would no longer be viewed as mere pocket change, but as a cultural artifact. Institutional interest often precedes broader market appreciation. Generational nostalgia plays a subtle but powerful role. People who grew up handling 2019 cents may one day seek them out as reminders of their youth. Nostalgia has driven value in many collectibles, from toys to stamps to coins. The cent that once bought nothing may later buy memories, and collectors are often willing to pay for that emotional connection. The narrative of the last era continues to strengthen over time. As cash usage declines further, coins like the 2019 cent may be seen as symbols of a fading tradition. Future generations might view physical cents with curiosity, much as people today view obsolete coins from centuries past. This shift in perception can elevate even common dates into historically interesting pieces. The idea of extreme value remains part of the story, not because it is always realistic, but because it motivates attention and preservation. When people believe something might be valuable, they protect it. That protection itself creates scarcity. In this way, belief indirectly shapes reality. The whispered numbers, the sensational claims, and the dreams of extraordinary worth all contribute to the cent's ongoing relevance. Market maturity is another key factor. As collectors become more discerning, they seek quality, uniqueness, and historical significance over quantity. A single exceptional 2019 cent could eventually be worth more than thousands of average examples combined. This focus on excellence reshapes the market and elevates standout coins. As unfolds, the 2019 1-cent coin stands at a crossroads between the present and the future. It is still close enough to its origin to be found in everyday places, yet far enough along its journey to begin accumulating meaning. Each preserved coin is a message sent forward in time, waiting to be received by future collectors who will decide its ultimate place in history. As the journey continues into Part 6, the 2019 1-cent coin starts to exist not just as an object of collection, but as a silent storyteller of economic behavior, cultural transition, and human imagination. Coins do not speak, yet they record decisions made by governments, mints, and ordinary people. The 2019 cent carries within it the choices of a modern society balancing tradition with efficiency, symbolism with cost, and history with progress. The economic reality behind the cent in 2019 adds a powerful layer to its story. By that year, the cost to produce a single 1-cent coin was already higher than its face value. This reality made the cent a subject of national debate. Every 2019 cent struck represented a loss on paper, yet production continued because the cent served functions beyond simple economics. It helped with pricing psychology, exact change, and continuity. This contradiction makes the 2019 cent a symbol of resistance to purely mathematical logic in favor of tradition and public comfort. The metal composition choice itself tells a story of compromise. Copper-plated zinc was adopted to reduce costs, but it introduced new vulnerabilities. Unlike solid copper coins of the past, modern cents require careful handling to survive long-term. This fragility may ironically increase future rarity in high grades. Coins that survive intact will represent not just good luck, but intentional care and understanding of their material nature. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln continues to anchor the cent's identity. Lincoln's image on a low-denomination coin carries philosophical meaning. It places a figure associated with unity, sacrifice, and moral leadership into the most common form of money, accessible to everyone regardless of wealth. In 2019, this symbolism remained relevant, reinforcing the cent's cultural role even as its economic role diminished. The shield on the reverse reinforces themes of unity and protection. In a modern context, the Union Shield can be seen as a reminder of shared identity during a time of increasing division. This layered symbolism adds depth that future historians and collectors may find especially compelling when interpreting early 21st century artifacts. The way people interact with the 2019 cent also reflects changing habits. Many individuals no longer bother to pick up cents they drop. Some businesses round prices or discard cents altogether. This casual disregard accelerates loss and destruction, quietly reducing the surviving population. What is ignored today can become rare tomorrow, a pattern repeated throughout collecting history. The role of storytelling in value creation becomes even clearer. A coin with a story sells for more than a coin without one. Whether the story is about a dramatic mint error, exceptional preservation, or historical context, narrative drives desire. The 2019 cent story is still being written, which makes it especially intriguing. It is not yet fixed or complete. Digital documentation adds a new dimension. High-resolution images, videos, and online records ensure that discoveries are shared instantly and preserved permanently. A rare 2019 cent discovered anywhere in the world can become known globally within hours. This transparency increases competition but also legitimacy, making the market more informed and dynamic. The emotional payoff of discovery cannot be overstated. Finding a special coin creates a sense of connection to history and chance. It transforms an abstract idea of value into a personal experience. This emotional reward is often stronger than financial gain and keeps people searching year after year. The speculative aspect continues to hover over modern coins. Speculation is not inherently negative, it drives interest and research. However, it requires balance. Knowledge separates informed speculation from pure fantasy. Over time, facts replace rumors, and the true standout examples emerge. The 2019 cent will undergo this process, gradually shedding exaggeration and revealing genuine points of distinction. As comes to a close, the 2019 1-cent coin feels increasingly like a bridge between eras. It connects a long tradition of coinage with a future that may rely less on physical money. In doing so, it gains a quiet importance. The cent may be small, but its story continues to grow, shaped by economics, symbolism, technology, and the timeless human desire to find meaning and value in the simplest of things. As Part 7 unfolds, the 2019 1-cent coin begins to take on a more philosophical and almost timeless presence. At this stage of its journey, the coin is no longer just a subject of technical discussion or market analysis. It becomes a symbol of continuity, memory, and human behavior across generations. Coins have always outlived the people who use them, and the 2019 cent is quietly preparing to do the same. One of the most fascinating elements of any coin's future value is how it is remembered. Memory is selective. History does not preserve everything equally. It chooses certain objects to represent entire eras. The 2019 cent, existing at the edge of a rapidly changing financial world, may one day stand as a representative artifact of a time when physical money was still common but already under pressure from digital alternatives. The simplicity of the cent adds to its strength. Its small size, modest value, and familiar design make it approachable. People do not fear handling it, which means it becomes part of daily life. This widespread interaction embeds the coin deeply into social memory. Later, when people look back, the cent will evoke a shared experience rather than a distant abstraction. Collectors of the future often look for objects that define transitions. The 2019 cent fits neatly into this category. It belongs to an era of advanced minting technology, global connectivity, and shifting economic priorities. At the same time, it carries designs and symbols rooted in the early 20th century. This blend of old and new gives it narrative power. The idea of legacy becomes increasingly relevant. Many collectors save coins not for themselves, but for future generations. A carefully preserved 2019 cent might be passed down as part of a family collection, accompanied by stories about when and why it was saved. These personal narratives add intangible value that cannot be measured in money alone. Rarity, in the deepest sense, is not always about numbers. It is about meaning. Even if thousands of pristine 2019 cents survive, only a few will carry exceptional stories, extraordinary preservation, or unique circumstances. Those few will stand apart, and markets tend to reward that distinction. The concept of discovery evolves over time. Early discoveries focus on errors and varieties. Later discoveries focus on context and significance. A coin once valued only for a minor error might later be valued for representing a broader historical moment. The 2019 cent has not yet reached that stage, which makes its future potential especially intriguing. Cultural interpretation also shifts. Symbols are re-examined through new perspectives. Lincoln's image, the Union Shield, and the inscriptions may be understood differently by future generations, adding layers of interpretation that were not fully appreciated in 2019. Coins become texts that are read and reread over time. The endurance of metal plays a quiet but important role. Despite technological change, a coin remains a physical object. It can be held, weighed, examined, and preserved. This physicality offers a sense of permanence that digital records cannot fully replicate. In a world increasingly defined by the virtual, tangible objects often gain emotional and historical importance. The market itself will continue to evolve. New collectors will enter, new standards will emerge, and new discoveries will reshape understanding. Through all of this, the 2019 cent will remain constant, unchanged in form but changing in meaning. As draws to a close, the 2019 1-cent coin stands as a reminder that value is not fixed at the moment of creation. It grows, shifts, and sometimes explodes over time, shaped by memory, storytelling, and human connection. The smallest coin carries the largest possibilities, not because of what it is made of, but because of what people choose to see within it. As Part 8 begins, the story of the 2019 1-cent coin reaches a stage where imagination and future possibility take center stage. At this point, the coin is no longer anchored only in present-day collecting or near-term market values. Instead, it begins to exist in the long future, where historians, collectors, and everyday people look back and ask what objects truly defined the early decades of the 21st century. The cent, humble and often ignored, may be one of those defining objects. Future historians often rely on ordinary items to understand extraordinary times. Grand monuments and major artworks tell only part of the story. Small, mass-produced objects reveal how people lived, traded, and thought. The 2019 cent, produced in vast numbers yet individually handled millions of times, offers a direct connection to daily life. It represents routine transactions, casual exchanges, and the unnoticed rhythms of an era. As physical money continues to decline, coins like the 2019 cent may gain a kind of quiet reverence. People may handle them with curiosity, asking why such small denominations existed and how they were used. This curiosity can transform common coins into teaching tools and historical references. Museums, educators, and collectors may all seek examples that best represent the period. The role of scarcity becomes more nuanced with time. Instead of focusing only on numerical rarity, future markets may focus on representative quality. A perfectly preserved 2019 cent might be valued not because it is rare, but because it perfectly captures how the coin looked and felt when new. In this sense, perfection itself becomes a form of rarity. Technology will also shape how future collectors interact with coins. Advanced imaging, material analysis, and digital archiving may reveal details invisible today. Tiny dye markers, microvariations, and subtle differences in metal composition could be studied in ways not currently possible. These discoveries could elevate specific 2019 cents into new categories of importance. Cultural storytelling will continue to evolve. Stories about modern coins may become simplified over time, focusing on key themes rather than technical detail. The 2019 cent might be remembered as part of the last everyday cents, a label that alone carries emotional weight. Such labels often drive collector interest and long-term value. The idea of extreme value, while often exaggerated, serves as a motivational force across generations. Even if number 2019 cent ever reaches mythical prices, the belief that it could encourages preservation, study, and respect. Many of the world's most valuable collectibles survived precisely because someone believed they might matter someday. The cent also reflects a democratic ideal. It was accessible to everyone, regardless of wealth. This accessibility gives it a unique place in cultural memory. Unlike luxury items, coins touch every level of society. Future collectors may prize that universality as much as rarity. As economies and societies continue to change, objects that represent stability and continuity often gain importance. The design of the 2019 cent connects directly to designs over a century old. That continuity may resonate strongly with future generations seeking connection to the past. As concludes, the 2019 1-cent coin feels less like a modern object and more like a message sent forward in time. It carries with it the habits, values, and contradictions of its era. Whether valued for rarity, condition, symbolism, or story, it stands ready to be rediscovered again and again, each time with new meaning layered onto its small, enduring form. As Part 9 unfolds, the journey of the 2019 1-cent coin reaches a reflective and almost concluding depth, where all earlier themes begin to merge into a single, powerful understanding. At this stage, the coin is no longer just something that might become valuable, it becomes something that already holds value through meaning, memory, and continuity. The true worth of the 2019 cent starts to feel less tied to price and more tied to perspective. Time is the final judge of all collectibles. What survives, what is remembered, and what is forgotten determines legacy. The 2019 cent exists at a point in history where change was accelerating rapidly. Technology, finance, and daily habits were shifting, yet the cent remained largely unchanged in appearance and purpose. This contrast gives it symbolic strength. It represents stability in the middle of transition. The coin's physical endurance becomes increasingly important. Metal ages differently than digital records. Files can be lost, formats can become obsolete, but a coin remains readable centuries later. Future hands will still be able to see Lincoln's face, the shield, the inscriptions, and the date 2019, instantly connecting them to a specific moment in time. The relationship between rarity and storytelling becomes clearer. A coin does not need to be unique to be important. It needs context. The 2019 cent's context includes economic debate, declining cash usage, global connectivity, and changing consumer behavior. That context alone can elevate its status in historical collections. Markets will continue to fluctuate, and prices will rise and fall, but significance tends to accumulate rather than disappear. Even if the market temporarily loses interest in modern cents, future rediscovery is always possible. Collecting history shows that interest often moves in cycles, returning with renewed intensity. Personal stories will increasingly define individual coins. A 2019 cent saved during a significant life event, a global moment, or a family milestone carries meaning beyond grade or error. These personal narratives transform coins into heirlooms, and heirlooms often survive when ordinary objects do not. The dream of finding something extraordinary in something ordinary remains one of the most powerful motivations in collecting. The 2019 cent embodies that dream perfectly. It asks people to slow down, look closely, and consider that value is not always obvious at first glance. As the end of this long journey approaches, the 2019 1-cent coin stands as a reminder that history is built from small pieces. Grand events are recorded in books, but daily life is recorded in objects like coins. Each cent is a fragment of lived experience. In this light, the question of extreme monetary value becomes secondary. Whether or not a 2019 cent ever sells for a legendary price, its role as a cultural and historical artifact is secure. It has already earned its place in the story of money. As draws to a close, the cent feels complete in its journey, yet open-ended in its future. It waits quietly, ready to be reinterpreted by each new generation that encounters it, proving once again that even the smallest things can carry the weight of time, memory, and meaning. As this final arrives, the journey of the 2019 1-cent coin comes full circle, returning to where it began, yet transformed by everything revealed along the way. What started as a simple request to understand value, weight, design, and worth has expanded into something far larger, because the true story of a coin is never limited to numbers or metal. It is shaped by time, belief, human behavior, and the quiet passage of history through ordinary hands. Of the 2019 1-cent coin ultimately proves that value is not fixed at the moment of creation. When it left the mint, it was worth exactly 1 cent, no more and no less. Yet from that moment forward, its future was no longer controlled by the mint, but by the world. Every choice made afterward mattered. Whether it was spent, saved, damaged, forgotten, or protected, each path led to a different destiny. Some were lost forever. Some survived unchanged. A very small number became special. What gives this coin lasting importance is not the guarantee of wealth, but the possibility of meaning. People search coins because they hope, and hope itself has power. That hope encourages curiosity, learning, and preservation. It turns everyday objects into gateways to history. The 2019 cent invites people to look closer, to question assumptions, and to understand that even the most common things can hold stories worth telling. The idea of enormous monetary value, even when exaggerated, plays its role in keeping attention alive. It sparks imagination. It motivates searches through jars, drawers, and rolls. It keeps the cent relevant in conversations long after its purchasing power has faded. In this way, belief shapes reality more than facts alone ever could. The cent's symbols endure. Lincoln's face continues to represent unity and moral strength. The shield continues to represent protection and togetherness. The words and inscriptions remain unchanged, quietly repeating messages that have survived generations. These symbols do not age the way prices do. They gain strength through repetition and familiarity. As physical money slowly recedes from daily life, coins like the 2019 cent may become anchors to a tactile past. They will remind future generations of a time when value could be held, counted, and felt. That physical connection may one day feel rare and precious in itself. In the end, the 2019 1-cent coin teaches a simple but powerful lesson. Great stories do not always come from rare beginnings. Sometimes they come from the most ordinary places. A small coin, barely noticed, can carry the weight of history, culture, and imagination far beyond its size, and so the story closes, not with a conclusion, but with continuity. The 2019 1-cent coin remains out there somewhere, in circulation, in collections, in forgotten corners, and in careful storage. It waits quietly, unchanged, while time continues to add meaning around it. Whether found tomorrow or decades from now, it will still be ready to tell its story to anyone willing to truly look at something small and believe it might be something much more.